Welcome to Bhakti Steps. We'll continue from Bhagavad Gita, 17th chapter where we had stopped. There are prayers on my screen, so you can start. You can chant with me. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuramritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sopadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroho Shivtapatakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavani Shri Vishabhanu Sutdevi Pradmami Haripriya वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So welcome to Bhakti Steps. We were discussing 17th chapter and we were in the verse 23. So this is chapter of division of faith. So this chapter is division of faith. So in the previous chapter, 16th chapter, it was said that one should follow the scriptures. But then there are few who don't have complete faith. They have partial faith. So then what is their journey? What do they get after death and all that? That is discussed. So basically the idea is that it's according to three modes that one gets results. And we went through many such things. Mode of goodness, they worship the demigods. Mode of passion, they worship the demons. Mode of ignorance, worship the ghost and the spirit. Then food are also three modes. There are in three modes. The okay, we can go to the table. 17th chapter. Okay, Shraddha, demigods, demons, ghosts. The devatas, they move towards spiritual life. Okay, others go into fruitive works, and mode of ignorance, they end in religious activity. Food, there are three modes. Food in three modes: juicy, fatty, wholesome, pleasing to heart, and all that, and sour, salty, hot, pungent, which gives misery and diseases. This is alcohol, decomposed, putrid, tasteless, non-vegetarian food. Then there was yajna. This is according to the scriptures, matter of duty. This is for material pride, that see how much I did, I should get this much out of it. This is done without regards to the scriptures, without distributing prasad, without mantras, without dakshina, austerity. This is done as a duty for the sake of the supreme, tapas. And this is executed out of pride, to get something out of it. This is out of foolishness. Then charity, we discussed. Charity is to be done out of duty, without expectation of return. If we expect something return, it is in passion, so it will result in misery only. And this is done to wrong people, wrong places, in mode of ignorance. Okay, so this all we discussed. Now let's start with the text number 23. 23. From the beginning of creation, three words Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme, absolute truth. These three symbolic representations were used by Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas and during sacrifice for the satisfaction of the supreme. So if you have observed the some Vedic sacrifice or something, then at the end, the Brahmanas, the pujaris, they will say Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat means it is directed to the Supreme. Whatever the yajna is done, the puja is done, it is all directed to the Supreme. This is how the Brahmanas would do in the Vedic times. The word Om is the Supreme Person, the absolute truth. That is what it means. So here in this verses, Krishna is going to explain what does Om means, Tat means, and Sat means. So Om is nothing but the Supreme Lord, the absolute truth. And all that we do, charity, sacrifice, penances, it should be done in the mode of goodness for the Supreme Lord. Okay. Can anyone read this highlighted section? Brahma.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead.
Brahma, the first created living entity, performed sacrifice indicated by these three words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the same principle has been followed by the disciple,
Disciplic.
disciplic succession. So, this hymn has great significance. Bhagavad Gita recommends, therefore, that any work done should be done by Om Tat Sat or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one performs penance, charity, and sacrifice with these three words, he is acting in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is a scientific education of transcendental activities which enable one to return home back to Godhead. There is no loss of energy in acting in such a transcendental way.
Yeah. So anything that was done in the Vedic time, it was done for Om Tat Sat. That is for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Penance, charity, sacrifice. Therefore, transcendentalists undertaking performance of charity, sacrifice, charity, penances in accordance with the scriptures would always begin with Om. Om Keshwa Nama, Om Narayana Nama, Om Madhva Nama. Like that, if you have heard this. The lotus feet of Vishnu are the supreme devotional platform. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. The performance of everything on behalf of the Supreme Personal Godhead assures the perfection of all activities. Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penances, and charity with the word Tat. The purpose of such transcendental activity is to get free from material entanglement. So when we say Tat, it means we have to get free from the material entanglement. To be elevated to spiritual platform, one must not act on the material gain. Act should be performed for the ultimate gain of being transferred to the spiritual kingdom, back home, back to Godhead. The absolute truth is the object of devotional service, and it is indicated by the word Sat, Om Tat Sat. So the absolute truth is again Om Tat Sat. The performer of such sacrifice is also called Sat, because he is doing it. Why is called Sat? Because he is doing it on a spiritual platform, free from material entanglement. So he is also Sat. As all the works of sacrifice, penance, and charity, which true to the absolute truth are performed to please the Supreme Person, O Son of Pritham. Okay. Can someone read this section?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, the words prashasthya karmani are prescribed duties indicate that there are many activities prescribed in the Vedic literature which are purificatory processes. Beginning from the time of conception up to the end of one's life, such purificatory processes are adapted for the ultimate liberation of the living entity. In all such activities, it is recommended that one vibrate Om Tat Sat, the words
Sad bhave, sadhu bhave.
Shadbhave and
Sadhu bhave. Can you read?
Bhave and Sadhu. Yes, yes, ma'am. The words Sadbhave and Sadhubhave indicate the transcendental situations. Acting in Krishna consciousness is called Sattva, and one who is fully conscious of the activities of Krishna consciousness is called a Sadhu. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25.25, it is said that the transcendental subject matter becomes clear in the association of the devotees. Without association, one cannot achieve transcendental knowledge. When initiating a person or offering the sacred thread, one vibrates the word Om Tat Sat. Similarly, in all kinds of performance of yajna, the object is the supreme Om Tat Sat. The word Tad
Artyam.
Artyam further means offering service to anything which represents the supreme, including such service as cooking and helping in the Lord's temple or any other kind of work for broadcasting the glories of the Lord. These supreme words Om Tat Sat are thus used in many ways to perfect all activities and make everything complete.
Yeah. So the whenever Om Tat Sat is said, it means it is directed to the Supreme. So um, there are various examples given, like offering sacred thread and all that, initiating a person. One vibrates Om Tat Sat. Tad Arthyam. Tad Arthyam means to offer everything in Krishna's service. The cooking, helping, cleaning of the temple, everything. Anything done as a sacrifice, penances without faith in the Supreme Osana Prita is impermanent. It is called asat and useless both in this life and next. So if we don't do it for the Supreme, then it is asat. It is useless. That's why Krishna is saying you should do everything for the Supreme. Okay, can someone read this purport? Can someone read this purport?
Shall I continue, Prabhu?
Yeah, good.
Yes. Anything done without the transcendental objective, whether it be sacrifice, charity, or penance, is useless. Therefore, in this verse, it is declared that such activities are abominable. Everything should be done for the Supreme in Krishna consciousness. Without such faith and without the proper guidance, there can never be any fruit. In all the Vedic scriptures, supreme faith in the Supreme is advised. In the pursuit of all Vedic instructions, the ultimate goal is the understanding of Krishna. No one can obtain success without following this principle. Therefore, the best course is to work from the very beginning in Krishna consciousness under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. That is the way to make everything successful. In the conditioned state, people are attracted to worshipping demigods, ghosts, or yakshas like Kuvera. The mode of goodness is better than the modes of passion and ignorance, but one who takes directly to Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all three modes of material nature. Therefore, there is a process of gradual elevation. If one, by the association of pure devotees, takes directly to Krishna consciousness, that is the best way, and that is recommended in this chapter. To achieve success in this way, one must first find the proper spiritual master and receive training under his direction. Then one can achieve faith in the Supreme. When that faith matures in course of time, it is called love of God. This love is the ultimate goal of the living entities. One should therefore take to Krishna consciousness directly. That is the message of this 17th chapter. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
So one should do everything for Krishna, right? Om Tat Sat. That is clear. But now, how to know how to do it? How to have faith in the Supreme. That all we need to learn from a spiritual master. So that's why Prabhupada here says that we must first find a spiritual master who will train us, and then we know how to do sacrifice, charity, penances, everything in faith for the Supreme. Okay, so any questions or comments before we move to the 18th chapter? Yes, any questions or comments? Okay, so no questions, so we will move to the 18th chapter, the last chapter. Okay, now in this chapter, this is a very long chapter, and in this chapter Krishna summarizes the whole Bhagavad Gita. Okay, but he does it in another interesting way, which will go for as we read. Okay, so let's start with the text number 1. Arjuna said, "O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation and the renounced order of life. O killer of Kasi demon, master of the senses." So there is tyaga that we should do, and then there is sannyasa, order of life. What is the difference between the two, and what is the purpose of these two? So before we read further, I want to know your opinion. What does tyaga means, and what does sannyasa means? Can you tell me? Any comment? What does tyaga mean to you, and what does sannyasa means to you?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी। त्याग मतलब छोड़ देना।
Okay, और संन्यास?
संन्यास मतलब मेटेरियलिस्टिक वर्ल्ड को छोड़कर कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस में आ जाना, माने मेटेरियल लाइफ को छोड़ देना, सीधा साधा जीवन यापन करना भगवान की भक्ति के साथ। मेरे
संन्यास
ख्याल
order.
से हाँ, मेरे ख्याल से प्रभु जी यही होता है कि मेटेरियलिस्टिक वर्ल्ड को, क्योंकि पहले के ज़माने में जंगल में लोग जाके रहते थे, लेकिन अभी के टाइम तो वैसा कुछ है नहीं। माने मेटेरियल लाइफ से को छोड़कर प्रभु भक्ति में लगे रहना कंटिन्यूअस, वही शायद संन्यास होगा प्रभु जी।
Okay. Okay. So sannyas order is, there is first ashram, that is brahmachari ashram. One is trained in spiritual life, material life, both, and then he moves to grahastha ashram where he marries, has children, they grow, and he retires at the age of 50. He goes into vanaprastha ashram where spiritual life is more and material life is less. And when he feels matured enough to take to 100% spiritual life, he leaves the association of his wife that time, complete association. And then he takes to sannyas order of life, where he dedicates his whole word, body, soul, mind, everything in the service of Lord. That is sannyasa ashram. Now tyaga means whatever fruits we get from any activity, whatever activity we do, that we are giving to Krishna. Okay, that is the meaning of tyaga. So we'll get into this details. Okay, can someone read this highlighted section?
Hare Krishna. In the first 6 chapters, stress was given to devotional service, yoginam, api sarvesham. Of all the yogis or transcendentalists, one who are always think of me within himself is best. In the next chapter, pure devotional service and its nature and activity were discussed. In the third sixth chapter, knowledge reunification
Renunciation. Renunciation.
renunciation, and the activity of material nature and transcendental nature and devotional service were described. It was concluded that all acts should be performed in conjunction with the Supreme Lord, represented by the verb Om Tat Sat, which indicate Vishnu, the Supreme Person. The third part of Bhagavad Gita has shown that devotional service and nothing else is the ultimate purpose of life. This has been established by citing past as- Asrayas and Brahma Sutra, the Vedant Sutra,
Vedanta Sutra. Hmm. Vedanta
Certain
Sutra.
Sutra,
Hmm.
certain in-personalists consider themselves to have monopoly on the knowledge of Vedanta Sutra, but actually the Vedanta Sutra is meant for understanding devotional service. For the Lord Himself is the composer of Vedanta Sutra and He is the knower. That is described in the 15th chapter. In every scripture, every Veda, devotional service is the objective. That is explained in Bhagavad Gita. As the second chapter, a symbol of whole subject matter was described in the 18th chapter. Also, the summary of all instruction is given. The purpose of life is indicated to be
Renunciation.
renunciation,
Renunciation.
renunciation and attainment of the transcendental position above the three material modes of nature. Arjun wants to
Clarify.
clarify the two distinct subject matter of Bhagavad Gita, namely renunciation, tyaga, and renounced order of life, sannyasa. Thus, he is asking the meaning of these two words.
Okay. So Prabhupada gave some nice description here. The purpose of life is indicated to be renunciation. We have to renounce. But then there are two words, tyaga and sannyasa. What does this really mean? So that's why um, uh, Arjuna is asking Krishna. And he uses two words here, Rishikesh, Nekeshu, Suna. Rishikesh means master of all senses. One who can attain mental serenity. So he can remain equipoised. So that's why he called him Rishikesh. And Keshi Nishudan means there was a demon named Keshi. So now Arjuna had a doubt between these two words. So he is calling Krishna Keshi Nishudan. That means you remove this doubt, which is like a demon in my heart. The Supreme Person got it said. The giving up of the activities that are based on material desire is what the great learned men call the sannyas order of life, renounced order of life, sannyasa. Sannyasa is what? Giving up activities that are based on material desire. And giving up the result of all activity is the wise called renunciation. The performance activities of for results has to be given up. This is the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. But activities leading to advanced spiritual knowledge are not to be given up. This will be made clear in the next verses. Okay. So what is to be given up? What is not to be given up? We'll go in detail. There are certain sacrifices to perform to attain good sun, to attain elevation to higher planets, but sacrifices promoted by these desires should be stopped. However, the sacrifices purification of one's heart or for advancement in spiritual life should not be given up. So what is this trying to tell? So it needs some explanation. So there are two types of karmas that we do. Nitya karma and kamya karma. Nitya karma is it's like daily activity, like Sandhya Vandan, getting up, taking brush, cleaning, bathing. This is all our daily activity. And kamya karma is activity done to fulfill personal desires, like attaining the sun, having more richness. All these activities also performed in Vedas. So sannyasi he gives up kamya karma. Okay, he gives up karma karma and follows only nitya karma. Okay, and those who are not sannyasis, what they do? They also follow nitya karma, because that you have to do. And if they do some kamya karma, they do it without seeking the result as a duty. Okay, so do it in a detached way, and this is what is called as tyaga. So non-sannyasis cannot be called sannyasis, right? So what they do is they do tyaga. Does this understand? Does it make sense? See, sannyas ashram is giving up completely kamya karma, nothing to do with personal desire. But not everyone is in sannyas ashram. So then we have to do tyaga. What does that mean? We do nitya karma. Sometimes you have to do kamya karma. We do it without seeking results as a duty. And the results come, we offer it to Krishna. Getting? Now, in this section, we read that certain sacrifices performed to attain a good son should be stopped. Okay? Is this clear? Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is in our lineage, Acharya, he prayed to get a good son. To whom? Do you know? To whom did he pray? Bhaktivinoda Thakur. First of all, tell me who was son of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Have you heard about him?
Yes, Saraswati Thakur.
Yes, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Now, to get this kind of son, he prayed to Durga Devi, who is Vimla Devi, in the courtyard of Jagannath Puri temple. Okay. So when Jagannath, when the bhoga is offered to Jagannath, and when Jagannath eats, after that it is first offered to Bimla Devi, Durga Devi, who is there in the courtyard of Jagannath Puri temple. So to Durga Devi, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is a great Vaishnava and Acharya, he prayed for a good son. Whereas we are reading here that we should not do anything to get a good son. So are these contradictory? Seems like contradictory, right? So is it contradictory or not? Tell me.
No, Prabhu.
Why?
So Bhaktivinoda Thakur has actually prayed to get a son to spread the Krishna consciousness. Actually.
Yes. So he prayed to have a good son as a ray of Vishnu for spreading spiritual science, for spreading Krishna consciousness. So it was not for kamya karma. Kamya karma means personal desire. It was not personal, selfish desire. Let's put it like that. Let's put another word to it. Selfish desire. So if it is not for selfish desire, we can pray for that. Getting? However, sacrifices for one's purification, advancement in spiritual science should not be given up. So he did it for Krishna consciousness, therefore it is not kamya karma. You understand this point? Now, when Rukmini, you have heard this story, Rukmini is getting married to Shishupal Which temple does she visit?
Durga, Ma Durga,
Durga temple, right? What is she praying to Durga? What is she praying to Durga?
भगवान कृष्ण को पति के रूप में पाने के लिए।
Yes. So is it Kamya Karma? No, right? It's like everything is personal, okay? Everything is personal, everything is selfish, right? She wants to serve Lord Krishna, right? She wants to serve Lord Krishna. So it is not a Kamya Karma. It is devotional service. So one should not give up that kind of sacrifice. Getting? Does this make sense? Any question on this? See, this is very important to understand, okay? This is very important to understand. Okay, we'll go further. More explanation will come. Some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activity should be given up as faulty, yet other sages maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, penances should never be abandoned. So Krishna is saying some learned men think that giving up means giving up everything, because all these fruitive activities, they are faulty. Why they think they are faulty? Why these fruitive activities are faulty?
because it's based on our personal desire. We want to enjoy.
Yeah, then what will happen? We will remain in this world, right? Like I always show this PPT.
And also our miseries will increase.
Sorry? What? What did you say? Can you repeat? Okay. So this is like a personal desire. So this
Also
thief,
increase.
yeah. So this thief is wants, he's feeling hot in his cell, and he wants a AC. So his personal desire is fulfilled, but he remains in the prison. That is the problem. You don't get liberation. So they think it is all faulty. We should give up. But sages say if given a chance for sacrifice, charity, penances, you should give. You should do sacrifice, charity, penances. Okay, Krishna is making that statement here. The best of the Bharatas now hear my judgment about renunciation. O tiger among men, renunciation is declared in the scriptures to be of three kinds. Now Krishna is going to give judgment. What is renunciation? He is going to talk more on the word tyaga. What does tyaga means? Now why Krishna is talking more on the word tyaga than on sannyasi? Can you tell me why? Why he is focusing more on tyaga but not sannyasi? Any thoughts?
प्रभु जी, हम जैसे
I think not.
ग्रस्त जीवन में रहते हैं तो हमको वर्क काम तो करने हैं, लेकिन उसको हम उसके फ्रूट्स को हम कृष्णा को दे देंगे, तो इसलिए
Yes. Because 99.99% of the population is going to be married life. So better talk on tyaga, right? Renunciation is very, very small percent. So that is one reason, of course. And the thing is, in a married life, in grahastha life, we will do both kind of karma, nitya karma, kama karma. But if you do kama karma for selfish desires, we'll be like this prisoner. We'll feel very happy to be in the prison, but we will not never get out of the prison, right? Isn't it? So tyaga is not helping us to, or sorry, the kamya karma is trapping us more, is making us more entangled. Is this clear? So now we have to give up. So now what is that give up means? It is again in three modes. Three kinds means three modes of material nature. Goodness, passion, ignorance. Next verse, Krishna says, acts of sacrifice, charity, penances are not to be given up. They must be performed. So Krishna agrees with those sages who say that sacrifice, charity, penances, if given a chance, should be performed. Krishna says yes, it should not be given performed. Why? Because these acts of sacrifice, charity, penances purify even the great souls. However great soul may be, if he does more sacrifice, more charity, more penances, he becomes greater. I'll give you an example of Janak Maharaj. Janak Maharaj, you know who is Janak Maharaj?
Yes, Prabhuji, Sita Mata ke pita.
So after he so once he attained full perfection, so he was to be taken to the heavenly planets. Okay, his time was done here, and he told, I have heard about these hellish planets, I just want to see what is it. So the dutas, they took him to the hellish planet, and he saw that there was so much of misery, some dogs are biting, they're putting into hot oil, they're making them run for thousands and thousands of miles. So he became very compassionate. He said so much of suffering is going on. So then he asked what I should do for them. So the Duta said, you can perform a charity. Whatever penances, pious activity you have performed, if you give it to these people, then they will elevate. So then he prayed and he said, whatever pious activity, pious credits that I have, I will give it to these people who are, all these souls who are stuck in the hellish planets. And then immediately all of them got the pious credits and they started leaving the hellish planets. Now, if you give, let's say you have 1 lakh rupees. If you give 1 lakh rupees, what will remain with you? If you give 1 lakh rupees, what will remain with you? Can you tell me?
Materially, it will be zero, Prabhu.
No, materially only. Everything will be zero, right? So now Janak
No,
Maharaj
everything
gave
will be
all
zero.
his pious activities. What remained with him? What remained with him?
That punya karma, what he did, I think.
Nothing remained, right? He gave it. Isn't it? He gave all his punya karma to the hellish people. They all elevated, they went to the next journey. The hell became empty. Now, what remained with Janak Maharaj? Can you tell me? Zero? How many of you agree for zero?
No, I don't agree for zero, Prabhu.
Why? Because Krishna says here that it purifies even a great soul. So he performed his sacrifice, charity, penances, and he got more penances because of that, because of this charity that he got. You see, he did this charity for the betterment of the people. Because of that one act, he got double amount of pious credit into his account. He got double lottery. Got it? So that's why Krishna says it purifies even great souls. Does it make sense? Yes or no?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So yeah. So like this, I gave one example. Now let's go forward. There are more than 70 verses in this chapter. So I hope to finish it in 2-3 weeks. But let's see. All these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectation of result. Did Janak Maharaj had any attachment? Did he say, okay, what I will get out of it? He felt compassionate. He did it as a matter of duty. He was a king. A king's duty is that he helps those who suffer. So he did it as a duty. That is my final opinion. That is the reason why Janak Maharaj is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Do you know where Janak Maharaj is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita? Which chapter? There's a big connection. Huh?
It's in 3rd or 4th chapter.
Fourth. It's mentioned. He's mentioned in fourth. So he's mentioned as the one who, while in this material world, achieved perfection by doing performance of activities. Karma yoga. He did perfect karma yoga. So Krishna gave his example to Arjuna. Right? So that's what we are discussing. So sacrifices to purify one's existence, elevate one to spiritual point should not be stopped. A devotee of the Lord should accept any kind of work, sacrifice or charity with the help of which will help him in discharge of devotional service to the Lord. So whatever helps us in the discharge of devotional service to the Lord, we should do that. Prescribed duty should never be renounced. Okay, whatever is our prescribed duty, we should not give it up. One should, if one gives up his prescribed duty because of illusion, such a renunciation is in mode of ignorance. And what happens in mode of ignorance? Madness. Right? Madness happens. So one should not give up. There is some section here, but I'll still go further. Anyone who gives up prescribed duty as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort, it is said to have renounced in the order of mode of passion. See, they have given up. They are definitely renounced, but it is in mode of passion. Such actions never lead to elevation of renunciation. What will mode of passion lead to? What will mode of passion lead to? Happiness? Madness? Misery? What does mode of passion leads to? What does it lead to?
Misery, Prabhu.
Yeah, misery. So let's say a prescribed duty of a person is that, like, let's say a prescribed duty of a mother. What is the prescribed duty of a mother? She has to take care of the children, right? What is the prescribed duty of the father? He has to earn money, bring it home for the maintenance of his family, right? Now, if they give up because it is troublesome, then what will happen? Misery. Who will be miserable? That person will be miserable. That is one thing. The dependents also will be miserable. You get? You understand this point? Oh Arjuna, when one performs his prescribed duty only because it is out to be done and renounces all material association and all attachment to the fruit. See, we have to renounce the attachment to the fruit, not the fruit. When a fruit comes, it doesn't mean we have to throw it away. We have to properly utilize it. Part of it goes for maintenance. Part of it goes for Krishna's pleasure, for Krishna's service. Then such a renunciation is said to be in mode of goodness. And when we do, what is the result of mode of goodness? Happiness, right? Result of good will be always good. The intelligent renouncer situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work, has no doubts about work. What does this mean? He is not hateful of inauspicious work. What kind of inauspicious work is Krishna talking about? What kind of inauspicious prescribed duties are we talking about? Who was Arjuna? Who was Arjuna? Was he a businessman?
Kshatriya.
Kshatriya. What do Kshatriya do? What does a warrior do?
Protection.
He gives protection. If somebody is not is coming in way of his protection, what he will do?
He'll kill that person.
He may do violent to that person to the extent that he will have to kill him, right? Isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, Prabhu.
So a soldier may think that killing a person is an inauspicious work. Is killing good? It is definitely not an easy task. Okay, but the soldier may think this is inauspicious. This is, I think, is wrong. See, this is the premise of Arjuna from the start, from the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. How can I kill? How can I kill my own kinsmen, my own family members, my grandfather, my teacher? Right? So he is thinking this is inauspicious work, which we see. When a soldier kills and all that, it is a terrible act. Nobody wants to kill, isn't it? Nobody likes to kill. The soldier doesn't like to kill. मजबूरी में मारना पड़ता है, because the terrorist is not listening, the enemy is not listening, so they have to kill. So it is kind of inauspicious only. But if somebody is in mode of goodness, he won't see it as inauspicious. He won't tout his work. If there is some good work, he's neither attached to that, neither he is hateful of this inauspicious work. A soldier is not hateful of doing his duty. Why? Can you tell me why? Why he should not be hateful of his inauspicious work?
Because it is his duty.
Fine, duty is one answer. Second, it is done under
I think he is doing on behalf of the
yes,
government, like
on
in
behalf
police
of the
management
king, on behalf of the government. So
government.
yeah, so he's not doing it for his selfish purpose. Remember, he's doing it on the purpose of higher authority. Similarly, whatever activity we do, if we do it for dharma, then it is not inauspicious. Does it make sense? In the previous yugas, they were doing yagyas where they would kill, you know this in Ramayana, the wives of Dashrath, they killed a horse, right, to do the yagya, Ashwamedh yagya. Have you heard this word, Ashwamedh yagya? Have you heard this word, Ashwamedh yagya?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, yes.
What does Ashwa means? Ashwa means horse. So they have to, after the end of the yagya, they have to kill the horse. But do you know what is the test of doing this? So technically it is inauspicious work. For a Kshatriya to kill a horse is inauspicious. Why? Because he takes care of the horse. The horse serves him in every battle. Right? So he's killing his own family member at the end of this yagya. Do you know what is the test of Ashwamedh yagya? What is the real test of Ashwamedh yagya? Do you know? Actually, this Ashwamedh yagya, this Gomedh yagya is not allowed in Kali Yuga. Do you know reason? The reason is that the test of these yagyas was that when the horse was killed, in front of everyone, the horse would get new life. Then the yagya is successful. Can you imagine what kind of test it is? Can you imagine? If there is a failure in the yagya, this killing of the horse is then sin. So it was a difficult task. Same with go. There is another yagya called Gomedh yagya, something like that, where the cow has to be killed. And if the cow doesn't get new body in front of everyone's eyes, then gone. That sin comes upon you. So it was very tough. So such things are not allowed in Kali Yuga, but I am just telling that the kings at that time, they were not hateful of the inauspicious work. Okay. And they knew it is a duty to be done. Indeed impossible for an embedded being to give up all activities. Can we give up all our activities? No. We have to get up, we have to sleep, we have to eat. We just cannot give up everything. But he who renounces the fruits of action is called one who is truly renounced. But one who renounces his fruit of action, whatever fruits that we get from our action, we are not attached to it. We will properly utilize it and offer it to Krishna. Then that person is truly renounced. I always give example. The company gives you a car to be used, to meet all the customers, everything, right? And at the end of the day, the employee becomes attached to that car, and he says, "This car is mine." That is the problem, right? He is not renounced. So truly renounced means I will use the car for its purpose to meet all the clients, to meet the customers, and then I will give it back to the company. Then that person is truly renounced. He is honest person. Now whatever in our life is given by Krishna, yes or no?
Yes.
This full earth is full of is made by Krishna. So if we come in certain family where we may get hundreds of acres of land, should we think this is mine? Then we are not renounced. So how to think now? Should we give up? Chalo donate kar diya main. Nahin. That also cannot be given up. One understands that, okay, in this life I have got these possessions in life. I will properly utilize it and do my dharma, do my duty as a businessman, as a farmer, and offer my results to Krishna. Such a person is truly renounced. Now you understand this point? Yes or no? Any questions, doubt on this point? Any questions? Okay. For one who is not renounced, the threefold action, desirable, undesirable, mixed, occur after death. So one who is not renounced, desirable, undesirable, mixed, occur after death. Okay, these all comes after that. One has to suffer and enjoy. If he doesn't give his car back to the company, what will happen? If an employee doesn't give the company's car back to the company, he takes it, runs away, what will happen? What will happen?
They will deduct the entire amount of the car.
Okay, they would stop the salary. Next.
They may put a case against him.
Yeah, police will come. When police is after you, will you enjoy that? Will the employee enjoy such a thing? Police mere piche hai. No, right? What will happen? He will suffer. Whatever suffer he is trying to plan, it will end up in suffering. Getting? Does it make sense? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we'll stop here. We'll stop here because a new topic has been discussed. So let's open up for some questions or comments. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Okay.
No problem.
Okay.